to Renaissance Bar and Lounge Cuba, so get ready. The Weekend Pass, every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. We're in your area and on Power 102. The Weekend Pass is sponsored by Karen Radler.
Incredible India, located at the White Tent behind KFC and Pizza Hut Laramie from September 7th to 24th. Once a year only, come and shop in DC Comfort, Folk Indian Food Court, Home Decor, Teak Furniture, Hilton and Shades, Garments, Footwear, Jewelry and much more. We accept late and credit card, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Incredible India, located at the White Tent behind KFC and Pizza Hut Laramie from September 7th to 24th. Admission is absolutely free. Check us out today.
You heard the man, located at the White Tent behind KFC and Pizza Hut Laramie from September the 7th to the 24th from 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. daily. Once a year only, come shop in AC Comfort, full Indian food court, great quality products available, home decor, teak furniture, curtains and shades, garments, footwear, jewelry and much more. And they accept links and credit cards.
The first responsibility that devolves upon you is the protection and promotion of your democracy.
In 1976, Trinidad and Tobago adopted the Republican Constitution, assuming full responsibility for our country's future and destiny. During our history, there have been many people and places synonymous with our growth and development. Power 102 presents We, the Republic. A retrospective on the people and places that have been pivotal in our ongoing journey to nationhood. We, the Republic. 4 times daily on Power 102. Being brought to you with the compliments of the Unit Trust Corporation on Power 102. Empowering you.
Make some space there.
Want to get your products and services out to more customers? How about getting more people into your store? Does your brand need a boost in exposure? Then radio advertising on Power 102 is the solution you've been looking for. With packages tailored to your needs and a team to create the ideal radio ad, the choice is clear. Power 102, empowering you. So call us today at 62-POWER. That's 627-6937. And ask to speak to a client advisor about your ideas and brand. We are Power 102, empowering you and your business today.
Are the problems and destructive anxieties of today tearing you apart? If there was ever a time to readjust your priorities and refocus your vision, it's now. Join Pastor Wayne Sampson on the Vision Flow devotional program every Monday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. right here on Power 102 FM. Jesus is the only one who can give you peace in the midst of these storms.
This is Power 102, empowering you.
We're looking at just about 4 minutes past 7. Let me say good evening to Dr. Raj. Sexplosion starts now.
Pleasant good evening to you. A pleasant good evening to all your listeners out there. It's, after a long while, I saw my colleague and good friend, Anil Roberts, live in studio. It has been a while. I haven't seen Anil, so it was a pleasure being here a little early to spend some time with you guys. It's always a pleasure to do that. Listen. Sometimes you listen on the radio and sometimes when you're in the studio, it's two different things, you know. Because then you see the 3 dimensions of it. For those who are outside, you don't know what you're missing when you're listening to radio. I mean, radio is theater of the mind.
Yes, it is.
And you're sitting wherever you are and you're imagining whatever is going on in the studio. But when you're actually here and you see Chris sitting opposite to Anil and he's on the fire, he's taking the fire. Well, Chris has been a friend of mine since I started here, many years ago.
Wow, that's
So
fantastic.
he was actually the first person to do a program with me.
Okay.
Yeah, because nobody else was brave enough. Honestly, no one else was brave enough to do a program but Chris. Because when they asked everyone else, even Junior ran out of the studio. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. But Chris Sion is the guy who's put his hands up and he said, I will do it with Raj. And I never forget that.
That's quite a long time. Huh?
Yeah, 18 years ago. And we developed a rapport. We always maintain that friendship and, that trust and understanding with one another, which is something you hardly find sometimes, you always... I've never had that sort of animosity with anyone here. All the presenters and all those who came and went and whatever. It's always that brotherhood. Yeah. So that's something I always enjoy with Power 102. It's something that, when you talk about Power 102, you feel good about it. Yeah. You feel good about the institution, the guys who are working here. Yeah, Ruben, all the other guys, you feel good about it. So anyway, I'm here tonight. I have to say thank you to all the listeners, viewers, those of you on the app, those of you on power102fm.com. Those of you listen via Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are, I have to say a pleasant good evening to you, and I have to thank you all very much for your support with this this journey I'm on. I'm not going to use any other word other than a journey, because life is a journey.
It is.
It is a journey. And when you take the mantle to do something, the journey could be rough. But nothing comes easy in life. Absolutely nothing comes easy in life. And doors are going to open for you and you're born with a gold spoon in your mouth. It's not going to be that way.
And if that happens,
who
knows what will happen when one instant bit of hard times hit you.
Yeah, but I will tell you this, and I read a lot of historical books and a lot of biographies and whatnot. And no matter how successful you are, how rich you are, you always have hurdles to cross. And I'll give you a good example. Think about the Prince recognition and everything else. So every single one faces challenges. It does not matter to what you could have all the money in the world.
Nothing to do with
Think about Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Great inventor. Money like that. And he couldn't stop his death. He was lying there watching his life beep away. Literally beep away. And if you read his words of his last days on that bed, it will teach you a lot. So, we face challenges in life. And one of the things that I am very thankful for is the viewers and listeners of Power 102 and of Dr. Raj and Sexplosion for all these years who have stood by me. Even with a little word of encouragement, keep up the fight. I walked down the street one day and this guy was over the road and he lifted his hand and said, Dr. Raj. I said, yeah, how you doing? He said, keep up the fight, man. I like what you're doing. And you felt good. You felt good about yourself. And people need that encouragement. You need to have that support.
Especially now, Raj.
Boy, these kind of times you need it. You need to know that when you're fighting a fight, there's someone there to stand with you. Even if it's to say, hey, I like what you're doing. Yeah. So, anyway, we're here to sex educate, or sexucate, as my good friend Third Base would say. But before we sexucate, how do you like the cricket last night?
Oh gosh, yes, man.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought the Warriors were real Warriors. I didn't know it was a bunch of them.
No,
no,
Babus, you mean? Babus?
But that was a convincing win by
That shows the strength of the team, and but I thought we had an underpass score. I thought 190 would have been better than 170, and we were heading to that.
I thought we would have had 200.
Yeah, and when I saw 170, I said trouble in the Kutia.
Yeah, but because the Warriors have proven to be
no, they have batsmen who could make that with ease. Ronky and them fellas, when they get off, is trouble. Yeah. But I talk a bit about cricket because cricket is my passion. It's my life. It's what I enjoy looking at. When was it? Independence Day. I woke up at 6. I watched Test match until 2, and after that I took a little break, and then I watched CPL highlights. Then I watched the 2 CPL games.
Yeah. Wow.
Until 12 o'clock in the night. From 6 to 12, cricket.
Yes.
That's how much I like cricket.
Yes.
I didn't want to go nowhere. If anybody called me and said, come over, I was like, why, you're mad? I'm not leaving this house. I'm not leaving this nice, relaxing atmosphere that I have here and this big TV in front of me to go anywhere.
I tell you.
So anyway, that and sex is my passion. Sex education, things to do with sex. You know, people ask me so many questions. Like one guy asked me today, is an orgy okay to attend? To participate in.
Okay.
And my answer to him was, well, I didn't know what angle he was coming from.
Yeah.
The same way like you would say, to attend.
Yeah.
So I asked him, you know, if he and his partner, I don't know if it's a wife or a girlfriend or whatever, if they're okay with it. And if both parties are okay with it, by all means. If you're not, don't. There are things in life that you shouldn't venture into if you know it's going to cause complications or problems.
Exactly.
And sometimes you want something for yourself, but your partner don't want that. But they may go along simply because they want to please you, but they truly don't want to do something like that. That's one of the things that you got to know the makeup of your partner, the personality of the individual, what he or she will want to do, how they will behave when you ask them something, if they're truly in support of whatever you're doing. And when we talk about support, one of the pillars of a relationship, and we talk about marriage here, we talk about common law relationship, even a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. One of the strength and pillars of a relationship is support. Once you have that support of that partner, that opposite sex, the person you're with, or same sex if you're in a same-sex relationship, but the opposite partner, once you have that support, you can really accomplish things. But anytime you start off going in one direction and you don't have the support of your partner, you are going to fail. That's why that saying, behind every successful man, there's a woman. That's a fact. But it works in the reverse also. Behind every successful woman it have out there, whether it be a doctor, a lawyer, a businesswoman, she have a man behind her.
Prime Minister.
A prime minister, of course. Of course. If you have a prime minister in whatever country and you have a partner who is not supportive of what you're doing and doing things on their own and whatnot, that's going to be a downfall. It has happened in countries already. We have seen it happen. So there are things that you need to do. That's why there's a way of doing things, a decorum that you have to follow. So everything that you do, you need that support. And that support that you get from your partner is something that you have to nurture, something that you have to be thankful of. That I have this person and this person is going to stand with me no matter what. I have seen persons who are heading in a direction, and because they did not have the full support of their partner, they had partial support, they started to weave and wean and run off the road. They weren't doing things wholeheartedly because they know they didn't have the 100% support of their partner. And I've seen individuals eventually, years of being together, and then suddenly you reach a wall. And you going up the wall and the other person going across the wall. Or you reach a fork in the road and you go in the left side and she go in the right side. Or he go in the right side and she go in the left side. And this is what you have to be thankful of when you have someone strong at your side. And many a times we don't propagate that. One of the major problems we have in society, and I made mention of it last week, I think, when we were coming off the air, is this whole situation we have in the country where there are a lot of married men. And somebody took up, I think earlier this year, I was on the morning brew talking about the percentage of men that horn their wife. Now let me get this. It's things that I've been doing for years. I have all the data for it. So when somebody questions those things, I just smile. I don't get angry. Other things might get me angry. But when you question my credentials, or when you question how I could make a statement like that, I smile. You know why? Because now I'm going to educate you. Because I realize you're uneducated as far as that is concerned. So any question was posed to me today, what the minister should do when it comes to these things about adulthood, I said, get education. Not in a derogatory manner, but education doesn't mean to say you don't have education in other areas. It means you're ignorant of this information, this piece of information. So when I made the comment on that morning brew program that 60% of the male in this country have a deputy, I was being conservative, one, but I have the data to prove that. Over the years, I'll tell you a nice little story. When I first started off 25 years ago, first center when I was on our Peter Avenue, persons will come to you for treatment and whatever else, talk with you, sometimes just for counseling, just to have a air so that they can voice whatever is going on and let you know what's happening. And you might ask the person, well, give me a little bit about your history and whatnot. And one of the questions you'll ask, which is something that I've always asked, if the person is married, do you have someone else in your life? And at that time, when I started asking that question, it was only 28% of the men that I saw that was saying no, that was saying yes.
Was only 28%.
Only 28% was saying yes at that time.
Yeah.
The more my name got out there, the more people realized that you could tell me what you want to tell me, and it's kept as my secret with you. Because I had threats, even by a custom officer, right? And I'm saying this openly because it's the truth. That one time they see some of my goods, and he told me if I give him the list of my clients, he'll release it. I'm serious.
What do you want you that list?
Well, I don't know, maybe to blackmail people or whatever. And I told him no. I said, you go ahead and charge. I said, you go ahead and charge. That's how it is, That's how dirty it is, But I know where I stand, and you will never get that. Absolutely not. But when people realize, clients out there and persons who wanted to come and see Raj, I wasn't Dr. Raj then, I didn't have that qualification yet, they realized that they could tell me the truth. Even today I was telling a client, I say, as time goes by, this is only your third visit, but as time goes by, you will tell me more about yourself. There are things about yourself you wouldn't have told me at the very beginning, which is true. You have to build up that level of confidence in the person. You must have trust in the individual to tell them certain things. But when the clinic moved to St. Augustine, and I started to see more individuals, the percentage moved from 28% very quickly to 40%. Very, very quickly, swiftly. And the percentage of women was stuck in the teens, 18, 19%. So I said, okay, something is happening here. As time goes by, and my clinic grew with the amount of persons I was seeing, I reached a figure that was over 50%. Because said no would come and say, well, that question that he asked me when I first came here? Well, the answer to that is yes, So I realized, hey, wait a minute. Either they have more confidence in me and trust, or they realize that if they give all the information, they're going to get the help that they really need. Either way, I'm getting the information. So, but there was a steady increase in the female also. But the female was not as drastic as the men. When the men was jumping from 28 to 40 to over 50%, they were climbing by the 1%, 2%. That's it. So eventually, I rounded it off and said, let's deal with the past data put that aside and let's start dealing with the new data. Because the new data now is giving me more information. And with that, I arrive at a percentage. I don't use the true percentage. For the simple reason that if I use the true percentage, people will fall off their chair. And persons will start pointing fingers. So 60% was something that was comfortable to use. But the woman percentage, as the female population or the female clientele grew, suddenly jumped from the 20s into the deep 30s. But I always found that women were, they were the ones who would, when you ask them that question, they will either tell you yes or no, off the bat, not the men. But now, I find that most of the men now would tell you yes, if it's yes. Now, I'm not saying all men are like this. So it gave me, as a professional, a true sense of the population out there, because my demographics is not the East-West corridor, it is not Tuna Puna, it's not Sangre Grande, it is Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean, also North America. So I have a percentage of West Indian background clients, and I have a percentage of clients that are not from the West Indies. I have clients from, because of cricket, I have clients from other countries because they know me through the cricket circle. As that grew, I was able to pinpoint the percentage of individuals who involved in this. And I looked at the pattern with the Caribbean men and the men outside of the Caribbean. I looked at that. So that is also something that I look at. I don't just see a client, take the information down and throw that file away. I analyze in my mind and on my computer. I plug information and I look at trends and patterns and whatnot, age groups and all, that kind of demographics. So when I tell you my demographic is not the East-West corridor, it's the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. So when I make a statement that 60% of the men out there have a deputy, I know what I'm saying. Some persons say, with a clown get a thing. I'm not a clown, you're the clown who don't understand that. But I tell them, I say, things. And of course, sexologists are some sort of social anthropologists, because we look at society, we look at trends, we look at patterns, we look at changes that takes place, we look at demographics, we look at culture, impact, societal impact. You will see certain thread running through society and certain thread running through certain segments of society. You see it. I'll tell you something. If you have a situation and husbands out there who are leaving their wives, or they have a deputy, but the deputy is from Venezuela because of the color of her skin, because of her age, because of what she's willing to do. And they are taking from their family to support that lifestyle. It's become a lifestyle, Now it is a show. long ago you want to have the best car. But in some best looking and the longest hair and the whitest one. So it's a trophy, you know. So they're going after these women as a trophy.
Notch on the belt.
And it's not so much a notch, it's more than that, you know. It's a psychological thing, you know.
Trophy, it's going to be much more.
Yeah. It's not how much I can lick up, you know. It's I must walk into a bar or a rum shop or wherever they go into line. And I have on my side a 18-year-old with long blonde hair, clear skin, blue eyes, nice shape, and everybody looking at her and everybody want her. And that the talk what you're hearing is the truth. And the amount of wives that are calling to say, I am being affected by this because my husband don't spend time with me. He prefers to go and find someone like this to spend time with. He don't care for the home anymore because he has her in an apartment, right? Or a house. Or they gang together and they live in a house and all these different men go to the house because they pay. And it has cliques that does this, you know.
I know.
10 fellas will get together and say, okay, we're renting this house. We'll put 10 of them in the house. This one is yours and we're going to exchange too.
That's a fact, bro.
But I'm telling you what's happening in society. I am not making things up.
Information that I experienced. You know?
But I'm telling you factual things.
Yeah, I've seen it. When I say
I know mothers from Venezuela
Yeah.
who come here when they see what's happening, send their daughter, you know. Or ask the man to pay for my daughter to come, you know. She's yours, you know.
Well, I'm in the transport thing, you know, so
Well,
I had transported. I met a guy in San Fernando one day and he said, where you going? I said, Port of Spain. He said, I need to jump these ladies at this destination. And when I got there, I said,
yeah,
it was an apartment building.
with
where they
only them in
housed
it.
A bunch of them.
Yeah.
Every apartment.
Well, they serve them right on our Repeat Avenue, you know.
Well, this is in San
Yeah.
San Juan,
But I'll tell you something. This is another thing. Where you and I wouldn't dare go to live, they're going to live in.
Of course.
They're in every nook and cranny.
Yeah, they're all open now.
But with one agenda, you know. Find a man who is going to take care of me. Find a man who is going to spend money on me and hook on to him, you know. Give him whatever he needs to get. And that is because of economics. So that's why I tell you, if a social anthropologist is looking at this, now they say about human trafficking. This is not human trafficking, you know. This is the person trafficking themselves, you know.
Yeah.
The guy puts out on the reader, I'm looking for so and so. Someone to fill that spot, you know.
Yeah. That's what I spoke about. I mean, I speak a little Spanish.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So they were bubbling and blah, 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 all the road. I was understanding some of what they
But you're letting them know.
No, but I didn't let them know. And, when I saw where I dropped them, thing, and I said, my God, the guy who met them wasn't all this fancy dapper looker.
No.
But he had this place, and he was telling he gave me a car. He said, you can call me in a brethren.
Because you know you can get fixed up.
Yeah. so I realized it was like a 8-apartment building, and every apartment had about 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I took 4 there.
And what they do, most of these men, and you see, the power of the vagina
Tell me.
could destroy a man, you know.
Oh, you mean?
Totally destroy a man, you know. But we have it in our head that if a woman is clear skinned, she's better than a woman who is dark skinned. And that comes from slavery. It comes from indentureship. Massa. Massa is more, and I don't care whoever's out there saying we emancipated, we're not emancipated enough to understand that. Because if a white man go on a stage and say Trinidad is the best country, the first thing we're going to say, that white man say that, you know. But if a black man does that, it holds less importance to us. We have to be endorsed all the time by the white skin. That's the psychosis of the individuals we face here. Many of us, we have one color skin on the outside and a different thought of who we are or what we want to be on the inside.
Yeah.
I had a friend, good friend, childhood friend. And One time all the families got together, husband and wives and children, and all of we were childhood friends. And we went to spend a week in Mayaro, rented this house and whatnot. But we realized there was a bit of tension between our childhood friend and his wife. Now the wife didn't grow up with us. She grew up from another village. I even drove the wedding. That's how close we were. And all of a sudden, we decided to intervene and find out what's going on here. Why it is you all are so distant apart? We don't live like that. And the wife said, she said, yeah, you have another woman. So he said, we hear about this, why? What could we do about it? You know what was that man's description of the woman? Her skin is milky white. That was the description he gave of the woman. For the time he gave that description, you should see how that man's face light up.
He's like a conqueror.
Yeah, a trophy. It had nothing to do with the woman's personality. He didn't say, well, she's a real nice woman, she just take care of me, or she does whatever. Her skin is milky white. And then you realize, I have another guy. He said, when you're comparing cars, you just say everything look like a Benz. He said, that's why I get a white woman, because everybody is compared to a white woman. I say, boy, where your head is, boy? I say, people who do that, the individuals who do that, don't understand the beauty of a woman. It has nothing to do with the color of her skin. But that is how we are programmed to think that way. And that's why we have this present situation in this country. Because of our programming, our mental programming, that the white is always better than the brown, the red or the black. If you watch the national flag, the white thing, so
Yeah. But it's most powerful.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. We always consider that to be the most powerful.
Yes. See, that's supreme.
Right. So these men who are going after this trophy, and the trophy have to be young and have shape and color.
Best thing.
The one thing they want is color. They want no dark Venezuelans. They want clear skin, white looking Venezuelans. Yes, color the eyes and long hair, and, And they feel now that they have elevated themselves by being with that. Not knowing in the eyes of the public that could differentiate what is right and wrong, that you really is an ass. That if you think that defines you, you are a total fool. Let's take a break.
On Monday, 7 September 2015.
Don't see just that man. At 2 or 3 the host show the long time girl. I bring it too cheap.
Right, up to yesterday, a man telling me that. He said, boy, I reach a stage in my life, my children grow up, I want one of that on my side. I say, and you'll end up in the poorhouse.
Yeah, boy.
I tell him, I say, once your money run out, they gone,
Yeah.
He said, nah, man, it's love. I say, love what?
There's a guy right up by me, brother. I won't even see my part on the road.
For reading.
Can't hardly understand Spanish. Yeah, that's right. Really not thinking about it. Well, this is I see everything that works.
Somebody else going with it.
Somebody go with that.
And from the
Yeah.
opposite, Dr. Botawari, Khadija Amin,
There's a man seen on there that's chocolate.
Anita Haynes,
Can't give men feel so.
Dr. Keith Rowley's administration,
A
and
lot of people smart to it. Some people pulling them in. Work.
2 FM.
Hi, Risha.
102 FM,
Ravi, how are you doing?
empowering you. You're listening to Power 102. The weekend pass returns to Power 102.
There's a lot of people looking for them as workers.
End of week access to fun, dancing, and a great line is
And
coming to you.
that job spec expands into all different
No, they're doing everything.
portfolios.
They're even picking up garbage. They're doing everything,
Everything.
Well, here what? A fella trying to convince me about an agricultural project. Not knowing who I am, He don't know who I am. And here what he go tell me. Boy, could bring down some Venezuelan woman to work the farm. Now his reason for the farm is the Venezuelan woman,
Yeah, that's what he wants. So no, yeah, that was
He is I realize now he not studying the farm.
Yeah.
He's studying what he could bring.
Yes.
I say, Brad, you're talking to the wrong man.
A guy with a bar, the guy is my barber. I went by him sometime. He said, boy, I know a Venezuelan girl, they treat my girlfriend. my girlfriend met her in some place and she felt sorry for her, she wanted to get a job. So he got a job for the girl back. Man wanted the girl to like fuck with everybody, around every table, drink and get drunk and all kind of thing. And the girl said she come here for that, so she left the bar. But his intention was to, have enough for me.
Want to get
Yeah,
your
place
products
her.
and services out to more
And she
customers?
serviced people in that place.
How about getting
Yeah,
more
bring the
people
money
to your
for me.
store?
But the girl
Does
was
your
not that.
brand need a boost in
Yeah,
exposure?
she one that come and say, she ain't mind doing that, but not how he shoot.
Not how he wanted.
You know, everybody beat all the thing.
The ideal
And
radio
she ain't mind.
is clear.
You have a picture with that, you know what I mean?
Empowering you.
No, they go sell it, you know.
How you mean?
But it's how.
Yeah,
627-6937 and ask to speak to a client advisor.
And then rapper don't mind me, boy. Don't mind me spoil.
The whole house out.
All over the place, anyway, I'm cool. I see them.
Every bar have 2 and 3 of them, okay.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm so see, just a read. Look at that.
Bar Pro.
Yeah, to that corner.
Your men get married to them.
What you mean?
And they even go to bed with them, you
I'm
know.
telling you. That's what I mean, that's doing the beat,
It has some pundits doing it, boy.
Yeah, how you mean they're bringing them, you know?
It has some pundits marrying them.
Yeah, they're moving like you go,
And all they're taking is some change.
like you go out, and they say, give me 2 crates of a live chicken. You know? That's what we don't know. 1 or 2 Thursday evenings. Sexplosion, Dr. Raj.
So when the women who are affected by this, the wives, call me and they tell me about it and what that, you know what's my first advice to them? Secure yourself financially. Make sure of that. Do whatever it takes that if something should happen, you are financially secure and you could say, "Hi, Pancho," on our way. Because eventually that's what's going to happen. Maybe persons don't realize this. And, you know, I'm not casting aspersion on anyone, but I have to say the facts. In the 60s and the 70s, there was an influx of ladies from Guyana. And one woman will move into a village, and one person will marry her. And before you know it, everybody in that street would have a Guyanese living by them. But their intention was never to stay here. It was always they will come here, hook up with somebody, settle down, do all the legal ramifications, get a visa and bust it. You know what men get catch with that? You know what homes mashed up because of that? And I'm not asking this question, and I'm telling you. And if we are honest with ourselves, we'll reflect and say, yes, this really happened. They came here with a purpose. You see, when you have economic turmoil in a country, things that you will not do in your country, you'll go to another country and do it. Even prostitute yourself, you will do that. You see it all over Western Europe. When Western Europe free up, there were so many women out there who were willing to do anything. Eastern Europe, same thing. You see it in advertisement. You could go to Russia and buy someone. But the only thing is that you have to deal with the mafia over there. And I don't think you want to deal with them. Because no matter where you are in the world, they would find you. Them don't make skylark. But the point is that because of economic reasons, they reach out somewhere where they can do something and elevate themselves. So whatever it takes to elevate themselves, that's what they do. So we find ourselves repeating history right here in Trinidad. What took place in the 60s and 70s is now happening again in 2018, 2015 to 2018 to 2020. But it's happening with a different breed, a different set of people. But it's the same process. It's the same thing. But the psychology of the people that we have here is as such that the grass is always greener on the other side. I know the thing I say about pundits are true. I could tell you. I could tell you they have a lot of scampish pundits out there who will marry anybody to anyone. And it's wrong. I mean, I'm a Sanatanist Hindu, and I'm proud of that, but I know the ills of it also, and I wouldn't hide that. I wouldn't sweep it under the carpet and say that don't happen. I can't tell you about any other religion, but I can tell you in the Hindu faith, there have a lot of young men out there who are marrying women that they know nothing about simply because they want to stay here. And that's wrong. That's totally wrong. Because that to me is treason. You're using your office to do something that is against the law, that is going to eventually erode this country. Because them women, when them get money, mister. Somebody was giving, yesterday a person was giving me a story. He said that, he has a nephew. And the nephew used to take out money to pay his workers. But he had a venue living with him. But work started to go good, so more money coming in to pay and things. So one day when he put the money home, the next day he go and look for it, he had no money. And she gone too. She and money gone, but you know where that money going? Back to their country.
That's right.
It's not being spent here. They get in some man to buy a meal for them. They get in some man to buy clothes for them. And they want the most expensive and the best. They want the most expensive and the best. They're not going to settle for what the ordinary Trinidadian will settle for. They want brands. I went to a doctor's office sometime about 2 weeks ago. And there's this new Venezuelan woman working there, receptionist. And what I saw on her neck, I looked at her and said, you know the value of that on your neck? She smiled. I said, that's $2,800 US. I know the value because I've bought one of that. And she's wearing that on her neck as an ordinary necklace. Well, obviously she buy that. Is some man buy that for her, but look at the value of that. It's a Bulgari piece, So, that's what they go for. Now, when I buy it, I didn't buy it for no Venezuelan woman. Let me get that straight. If I buy something like that, I buy it for my wife.
Yeah.
So let me get that very, very straight for anybody out there who thinking otherwise. I'm not doing that. It doesn't mean to say if I go out with a woman, I wouldn't buy a meal. Oh God, come on. But I'm not being stupid. But there are those who are stupid with it. They would not do it with their own people, And this is what gets me, But I'll tell you what is happening also in society. There are a lot of women out there who may be married, who had a man, whatever, who are frustrated right now because of this situation. And they feel rejected. Now, that's another psychological problem that they're facing. They feel rejected. That the men who are supposed to love and understand us and care for us and want us no longer wants us. They want something else. Why is this happening? So that damages the psyche of the country. How these women will start thinking, they will get bitter. And when you look at the nooks and cranny of the country, I'm not talking about, this is not happening in Westmoreland. This is not happening. It may be happening to a lesser extent. But this is happening in the nooks. The areas where you wouldn't think that these guys are doing that. So they go and hook up with a farmer. But it's not because they want to be with the farmer, They want the money of the farmer. What he earns. What he worked hard and toil to make. So that he can feed his wife and children and take care of his little expenses. They want that. So they are parasites. I'm not preaching hate, I want people to get that clear also. I am not preaching hate. But I'm telling you, if you find yourself in... No, I can't blame them, I don't blame them, I blame the men in our society who start thinking that this is the better way to go. And the men in our society who think that they should spend their money behind this as opposed to what they really should be spending their money behind. That's what I'm looking at. So I am not blaming the woman. They're doing whatever they have to do, you know. They are doing whatever they have to do to survive, and I understand that, because I know what I could, when you study history, you know when people cross borders, what they go through, you know.
Because you know, for some people who don't know, there's a water taxi that comes from Venezuela to Cejas. It's very legit.
Oh yeah, very legit. I know. I know one guy who goes down there and supply them with toilet paper and food stuff, and he just package it. No, I know somebody who, it's a business for him.
Yeah.
But he don't buy stuff in that area, because he said the owners of groceries and things jack up the price there. So he will buy stuff down on this side. Right, he will go to the wholesalers and whatnot. They may know what he buying it for. He might have a little shop over there, and he packages it, and he go there, and they will tell you they want $20 or something, and he sells it. He not in the trade of women and whatnot. He goes there and sell them food.
But it's via that service that they come across here.
I know.
By the droves.
I know. I'm aware of how it comes, and of course, again, if it is up to the individual to make the decision whether it is right or not. This kind of thing does help you to get through faster, you know. Yeah. And we have plenty of that, eh? Plenty of that is going here. So you can't blame them. You have to blame those who encourage it and those who do it. So those are the ones who are destroying their family life, and they don't care. They don't seem to care, because of the power of the vagina and the power of this beauty and the power of the color. And of course, if you're thinking that way, you have an inferiority complex, because you're thinking someone simply because of the color of their skin is better than your wife.
Yeah, that's superficial.
That's superficial. Of course it is superficial.
But there's more to it, Raj. I mean, besides the added to the breaking up of families and the interference with that kind of social life in the family, what about health risks, Kanti?
Well, we're getting there yet. We're not getting there yet, right? There's another aspect that we have to look at, because some of them who are coming here may have been doing illicit trade in their country, because remember, they're looking for the closest place that they could go to do this. Now, although that country share a border with, let's say, Brazil, there's a few hundred miles to get to Brazil, you know. Trinidad is only how much miles away? 17 miles? 25 miles? Not less than that.
You can see it.
You can see it.
Yeah. From Caracas, you can see it.
From Venezuela, you can't see Brazil.
On a day with where there's very low tide.
Yeah.
You can see them.
Yeah.
If you have binoculars or something.
No, you can see it. You
see vehicles moving and
yeah.
stuff.
Well, right. So, Trinidad is very close. So, although they may have a border with Guyana, and they hook up with somebody, you feel a person going to ask them for a test, they're happy to see the color and the look.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even brush their teeth because they have toothpaste over there. And forget toilet paper. So I wonder if people think about the hygiene aspect of it.
Yeah, that's the most worrying thing, if you ask me.
They don't think about the hygiene aspect of it. They'll be in the same clothes. And I will tell you this, I have been to many Latin American countries. They will wear the same jeans for a whole week or two, you know. With ease, you know. Because they are the shape. You watching the shape, but you're watching what covered it.
It's true.
That's what you're watching.
Yeah.
And they will spend any amount of money on aesthetics. They'll spend money on their bottom, they'll spend money on their breasts. And that's a serious thing with Latin American women. They will, any amount of, when I had the clinic, when I was a consultant at a clinic in Las Vegas, we used to deal with a lot of Peruvians and persons from Mexico and whatnot. And they would spend their hard-earned money on a little lip tuck, buttock stuck, breast augmentation. They're spending their money on that. You know, there was one aspect of the clinic that dealt with that. And that was the most profitable part of the clinic. Not the men so much with their erectile dysfunction and whatnot. It's the women who come in to get extra bottom and extra breasts. They are the ones who do that. They will come here. I know one girl came here for $80,000 so she could go back to her country for bottom and breast. Because she said, when I come back here, I get a different man now. 80,000 TT.
Yeah.
Whatever it converts in US something, that's what they're paying for it in their country.
And based on what they do, they can make it work.
But they don't have to make it back.
Yeah.
Because when they come more in hands, the low grade that gave them that money transfer to a higher grade.
Yeah.
Them going for a higher grade because the higher grade not watching them.
That's the kind of merchandise they're offering.
The package. They come here and they figure out what the Trini man wants. Say, They go back home. Figures. It's going to cost me $10,000 for this. US. Okay. Back to Trini. Make you take out a loan on your car, a loan on your house. You hand she the $80,000. She gone. She tell you she coming back in 3 months. Come back. Looking good, yo. What you say? Money well spent. But they spent on you.
That's right.
She upgraded now. She upgraded. She looking for somebody with more money to take her now because she looking better. That's merchandising. That's selling. That is you presenting a package that wasn't there before. It's business. It's all business. That's all it is. Business.
But I see them settling down all over the place. They're renting apartments. And
David, every nook and cranny.
But what I'm saying is that they came here without anything. But they are renting apartments and stuff, so you know where that money comes from. Somebody's renting the apartments for them. All over.
The money that they get is not spent here. Never spent here. Some man is paying that rent. Some man is paying their transport. Some man is paying for a cell phone for them.
Groceries, everything.
Some man is buying grocery. It might be one man, it might be a few men. But they know how to distribute that wealth. But I wonder if guys just stop and think. If you come here without anything, because you're a refugee, refugees don't have money. They don't even have passport because they just pass a bill in throughout the Latin American country that they're accepting them with expired documents. Right? Which is the right thing to do. They're refugees. Because when they stop them at the border in Ecuador, the High Court says no, let them through. They don't need documents to come here. Bring them in. Humanitarian efforts.
Yeah.
They jump on a boat and they come over here. Right? However they come. Pay a little bribe, have sex with the man, whatever. Who paying for them to go in a hotel or go in a place to sleep? Enter next to somebody else?
Of course.
So why don't men stop and think, well, how she end up in that place? Boy? Who brings she here? How she have a brand new and they want iPhone, eh? They want no cheap phone. They want an iPhone or a Samsung. Don't give them no Me Too or don't give them anything. And I'm serious,
Yeah.
Don't give them a phone that is not a brand, They are taking that. They don't want a phone to communicate, they want a phone to flam. And that's the reality of it. And we as men would sit back and allow this to happen because we are the one perpetuating it. We are making it happen and expect that we're going to have a good society 20 years from now. And all these men who have daughters and whatnot, I wonder if they stop and think that if I create this situation here and take my money, and people don't think in the future, Let me tell you something about economics. Economics was a very difficult subject in university because I went in depth into economics. When your money leaves your country like that, they call that hemorrhaging. When our economy starts to collapse, your very same daughter might have to do the same thing in another country, And I'm serious about that, Your very wife and daughter may have to do the very same thing in another country that you're encouraging here, Sometimes we feel we insulated and isolated and it's not going to happen to us. Brother man, it could happen in the wink of an eye. Because you are contributing to the downfall of the country. And you don't even know it. Take a break.
A South Trinidad come out for the incredible India, located at the White Tent behind KFC and Pizza Hut in La Romaine from September the 7th to the 24th from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, once a year only. Come shop at AC Comfort. Full Indian food court, great quality products available, home decor, teak furniture, curtains and shades, garments, footwear, jewelry and much more. They accept links and credit cards. There's more on the other side of these.
The Weekend Pass returns to Power 102. Let's go! Yes, your end-of-week access to fun, dancing, and a great line is coming to you. Every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. at the most popular sports bars and afterwork lining spots across TNT. Gaylan and the Ultimate DJ Shane are working with giveaways, competitions, and great music.
Yours truly, Gaylan, the ultimate DJ Shane.
This Friday, Weekend Pass goes to Renaissance Bar and Lounge Cuba, so get ready. The Weekend Pass. The Weekend Pass. Every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. We're in your area and on Power 102. The Weekend Pass is sponsored by Karen Radler. You're listening to Power 102. On Monday, 7 September 2015, Trinidad and Tobago elected Dr. Keith Rowley as this country's 7th Prime Minister, and so commenced Dr. Rowley's administration. 3 years in office have seen many accomplishments and many challenges. Join Power 102 all week this week as we examine the Dr. Keith Rowley administration at the 3-year milestone. What have been the accomplishments? What have been the challenges? And what does the future hold? Power 102 presents Dr. Keith Rowley's administration at 3. In Focus. Joining us are government ministers Robert Lahant, Rohan Sinanan, Stuart Young, Colm Imber, political analyst Dr. Vishnu Raghunath, Dr. Winfred James, Dr. Roger Hussain, and from the opposition, Dr. Botawari, Khadija Amin, Wade Mark, Dr. David Lee, Anita Haynes, Prakash Ramadan. Dr. Keith Rowley's administration at 3. In Focus. Only on News Power 102 FM and power102fm.com. Empowering you.
Incredible India, located at the White Tent behind KFC and Pizza Hut Laramie from September 7th to 24th. Once a year only. Come and shop in easy comfort, full Indian food court, home decor, teak furniture, curtain and shades, garments, footwear, jewelry and much more. We accept waste and credit card. 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Incredible India, located at the White Tent behind KFC and Pizza Hut Laramie from September 7th to 24th. Admission is absolutely free. Check us out today.
Your car is for you to enjoy, and many victims of car theft feel helpless at that dreadful moment, not knowing if their car will ever be recovered. Don't let this happen to you. Get car safe from Air Support Tactical Security. They maintain a 100% recovery rate using their military trained response teams and advanced online tracking solution. Call Air Support today at 225-8725 or visit them on Facebook at Air Support GPS. Air Support GPS for peace of mind.
Want to get your products and services out to more customers? How about getting more people into your store? Does your brand need a boost in exposure? Then radio advertising on Power 102 is the solution you've been looking for. With packages tailored to your needs and a team to create the ideal radio ad, the choice is clear. Power 102, empowering you. So call us today at 62-POWER, that's 627-6937, and ask to speak to a client advisor about your ideas and brand. We are Power 102, empowering you and your business today.
I'm Lester Sigler, inviting you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the program Slow Gospel Music, a program designed to soothe your mind and uplift your spirit here on Power 102.1 FM, Power 102.1 FM.
In 1976, Trinidad and Tobago adopted the Republican Constitution, assuming full responsibility for our country's future and destiny. During our history, there have been many people and places synonymous with our growth and development. Power 102 presents We the Republic. A retrospective on the people and places that have been pivotal in our ongoing journey to nationhood. We the Republic, 4 times daily on Power 102, being brought to you with the compliments of the Unit Trust Corporation on Power 102. Empowering you. This is Power 102. Empowering you.
Sexplosion Thursdays continue with Dr. Raj.
One of the things, before I go further, I want to say a special good evening to Shiva, Vashish, Grant, Petra, Indira, so far. I have more names to call, but as we go along, Savi.
Savvy. Sounds good.
So, I have learned, and when you are doing your studies, you learn this, especially when it comes to things of a societal nature. The family is the foundation of a country. The family. And when a man or a woman does something to destroy the family, that becomes the downfall of a nation. Many a nation have been destroyed because the family were destroyed first.
I don't know that.
So when you have individuals in your country who are thinking that they're doing something, and whatever they're doing is for their best interests, but it's really detrimental to the family or their lives or their lifestyle or the country, they're destroying their country. That's what they're doing. And they don't stop to think that. I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself. I'm not saying don't go and see or be part of. But anytime you make that the most important aspect of your life and you forsake the things that you are supposed to be doing, that's a serious issue. And I am a person who believes in responsibility. You know. When you have a responsibility towards, you don't bring children into this world and say, I'm not taking care of my children. You don't. You bring children into this world and that's your responsibility. You decide to live with someone or have a person in a house or a home, you create a home with someone. And you say, well, I'm not contributing, I don't care anymore. Let you go and make your own money or let him go and do your own thing. You don't do that. So that unit and what you have to do, and this is the challenge of life, you know. The challenge that we face in life is that there's no clear-cut method other than being honest, diligent, hardworking, and put into the forefront of your mind that is the security of the family, that is your security. So you're committed to that. And you have to constantly put, you think there are thousands of men in Trinidad and Tobago who wake up in the morning and would like to continue to sleep. Thousands, not hundreds, thousands. But when they study, they have a daughter going to school, they have a son going to primary school, they have to buy books, they have to put food on the table, there are bills to pay. You think they're going to remain on the bed and say, well, they go pay itself? No. There are thousands of mothers who wake up in the morning, sometimes earlier than the husband. Most cases. Well, I say sometimes because, you know, I want it to sound so bad. But it is that. To prepare breakfast and lunch for their husbands, their children. You think they wouldn't like to sleep a little later? But they know it's a responsibility and they're going to work to it. But they know they have a responsibility towards the family. And yet still, we go mash up that for a woman.
That's a hell of a responsibility to get up and prepare all this.
You are mashing up that responsibility, taking care of your children, putting them through school, giving them the best of everything. Because I don't care what parent you are out there. I am positive that every parent out there wants the best for their children. Even if they have to starve. They want the very best for their children.
You think there are people who are motivated to create a kind of disturbance that cause the breakup?
Yes. 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 There are persons out there, when they see you happy, mister, and they see the family life that you have, their only mission in life is to mash that up, you know. In whatever way possible, if it is to make a phone call to your wife and say, I see David down the road the other day with two Venice boys, one on each side, and if you see how that man moving with them, it may have a little bit of truth to it because that's your job to drive them about. Two of them would be sitting in the car, but it was not on your hand. But they took in fire, as we say. Or we sat in fire. There are people out there who will sit to do that, plan on that. There are women out there who say, look how she does. He treated she so. You go treat me better, man.
What if there are complications within the home?
Of course there are. But when you were born and you came out of your mother at the hospital and your mother held you, did they hand your mother a manual and say, this is the manual for David McIntyre?
That's a nice way to put it.
Did she get that?
No, that would never happen.
All right. So what she had to do, were you the first? I'm asking.
Yes, in my family.
Right. You're the first. You think she knew what to do? Instinct kick in. Motherly love kick in. Motherly protection kick in. And things started to happen. But she didn't have a manual. Or the manual she had would have been what her mother did, or her grandmother did, or her aunt did, or the neighbor next door. And she learned from that observation. But nobody came here with a manual. So when you're faced with problems in your home, you think the first thing to do is to walk out the door? If you have to walk out the door to cool your head, yes. That's the first thing you should do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's the only reason you should walk out the door. Other than that, deal with it. And deal with it with a level head. I have found that when I'm angry about something, don't deal with nothing. You'll never get the best solution. Once I calm down, I become level-headed, I realize that the answers comes to me. And I do make the best decisions. So don't do it in anger. But deal with your situation, deal with your family, deal with your wife, deal with your husband, deal with the children. Your children giving trouble at school. What are you going to say? Leave it to the teachers to deal with that? No, that's your children. The teacher in the school have them for a certain amount of hours. Yes, they mold in their minds and whatnot. But it is not their responsibility to make sure your child grows up properly. That's your responsibility. You have to discipline your children in the best possible way to bring out the best in them, you know. Whether it be by punishment, by taking away something from them, by grounding them or whatever. But you have to find a way to instill the values, the right values in your children. And you also have to be a role model to your children. So if you think running on woman and your children, you're supposed to go and pick up your children in school, but you somewhere gallivanting with a woman on a beach, and the children hearing that or seeing that, and you feel it's a good example, you're setting up. Later on now, you find that your daughter now gone romping with a man, and you wonder, well, how she could do that? It's because you doing it.
Exactly.
You setting the example. Bad parenting. Or your son, he get married and all of a sudden he want any wife, and your daughter-in-law come and tell you that. And you're like, how you could be doing the woman that? But daddy used to do the same thing. What you going to tell him after that? What are you going to tell him after he tells you that? You don't have the moral authority to do it. You do not have that moral authority to do it. That's why when I was telling about my friend, and we had that intervention with him, he had four other friends we all grew up together, and every one of us was different, giving him different opinion, but heading in the same direction. Because I would be talking from one standpoint, with my history and my experiences. Another one who would not have even, well, one of them in the group, he don't even, I tell you, the nicest one could pass the he and see. Honestly, he don't even see that. He was given his opinion, but it was all headed in one direction. Patch things up. Make things work with your wife and your children. And not one of us said, well, leave your wife and go with your woman. Nobody said that. Because at the end of the day, the value lies in the family. That's where it lies. Not a breakup. I think the strength of a man comes from your partner. And you have to be able to strengthen that at all times in everything that you do. Even if you play the ass, And I want to make that clear too. Even if you as a man playing the ass, and we all know what playing the ass means in Trinidad, make sure you take care of your wife and children and your home. As a matter of fact, put more effort into making sure your home straight, your children straight, your wife well taken care of. Don't go home and beat your wife and you're playing the fool outside. But that's what some men do. They ill-treat their family and they tell themselves they have a rock to stand on. Or they tell themselves, well, I have a best thing. So me, I care how my wife dress me, I want to buy nothing for she and I put in all my money here. The day somebody start taking care of your wife, see what will happen to you. One horn could send you mad, And there are lots of us out there who think that we horning our wife. And they're thinking that the wife will never horn them and they get boot left, right, and center. They don't know it, But that boot that they get in is worse than the boot that you put in on your wife, And to make it into a more recognizable language for those who are outside viewing this program or listening, when you cheat on your wife, if you think that is going to affect her as much as if she cheats on you, think again, Because when a woman cheats on her husband, it's with emotion and love. When a man cheats on his wife, it's with for physical pleasure. Machoism. And when you realize your wife no longer have that love for you, and that love is for another man or another woman, that's what I'm telling you. It will mash you up. It will mash you up. Psychologically, it will scramble your brain. I know men who walk out of the house and the jockey shots alone, When that S hit the fan, and they realize they walk out the house and however they was dressed, barefoot,
Some even go to the extreme.
Well, yeah, some go to the extreme in violence and even suicide and all that. But that's what I'm telling you. So if you think as a man that you horning your woman and you really doing something great, brother man, pray that you find out she horning you. You just pray for that. Because sometimes a fellow say, boy, I have my wife in our house. She don't go nowhere. Anyway, she go in, she will call me, or she go in with me, I go drive. She go honey on your own bed in your own house.
Yeah, of course, right under your nose.
In your own bed, in your own house. She could do it with a family member. She could do it with a neighbor. She could do it with somebody who comes to do repairs. She could do it with anybody if she feels she has to do it, Once that attachment is made, Crapo smoke your pipe, But there are too many men out there who do wrong things and think that their wife will never do the very same thing. So I could get away with what I'm doing. I'm macho. I have she under control. Yeah, I'm money. Yeah, pelting money at her. I have she in a nice house. She go do that.
I can get them packs at those guys more.
Well, them is the one who, boy,
They go mad instantly.
I get calls on these things daily. I sometimes get WhatsApp messages where I have to text and whatnot, getting information back and forth.
So you do a lot of counseling?
Yeah, counseling is part of my life, part of my work. I'm not paid for that. That is free. They're free. I do that free. Sometimes I have friends who are in a dilemma. And they call me and they say, Raj, I want to talk to you. This is what happened. So. This is what my husband is doing. This is what to do. And I tell them, I can't definitely tell them that you should do this. But I tell them to weigh the options. Look at the options. What options do you have?
Yeah.
How secure are you? What's going to make you feel better? What's going to strengthen you as a person? And most of the time, some men has played down their wives so much that they have very low self-esteem. You know? They have beauty, they have shape, they have brain, but the self-esteem is not there to push them forward. You know? And sometimes you have to build that. Sometimes you have to build that. You have to uplift them. You have to push them up. So it's not a physical thing. Some of them I've never seen physically. That's another thing. Some of them I've never seen physically. But you're helping them along this path. But my objective since day one till now, and that will not change, is to keep the family together. Do as much as possible to keep it together. But at the end of the day, you have to make the decision what's best for you.
The shoe goes on the other foot too. That men are committed and highly responsible.
There are plenty of men like that.
Yeah, and the same thing that some men will do, crazily women do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What kind of ratio you see
Well, I think it's more
on the male side?
on the male side. But there are a lot of committed men out there. And most of them will tell me, I'm no saint. And I know what that means. But I make sure I always take care of my family. I make sure I always take care of my wife. I put out my best foot for that. And sometimes the wife, they'll give her a damn. They don't care. Because it's in their nature to be like that. Alcohol is another thing. Alcohol is mash up family.
Yeah.
You know many women out there are alcoholics? There are tremendous amount of women out there who are alcoholics. They don't go and sit down in a rum shop and drink, you know.
That quantity has improved tremendously.
Not improve. Increase. Don't use the word improve because it's not an improvement. Don't use that word. Increase.
I should say that.
Yeah. There are lots of women out there who are alcoholics. They'll sit down home and drink and drink and drink. I know women who go to institution that is supposed to be for their health and they go and drink.
They hang out a lot now. In casinos,
Yeah.
pubs, bars.
Yeah. They socialize. They want to socialize.
Well, at the casino, they outnumber men.
Well, of course, because again, drinks free. The quality might be that good, but again, it's free, so that kind of draws them there. That's one of the things with casinos, you know, they give you a lot of freebies so that you'll come, you know.
Yes.
Eats and drinks. The quality may not be 100%, but eats and drinks.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of women who are housewives, taking care of children, but they're hitting the bottle every day. A glass of wine here, a glass of wine there, a shot of vodka there, a drink of whiskey there, a shot of Baileys here. But they're alcoholics.
The social problems that they are facing now, the thing that will create some, I shouldn't say a negative impact on that quality of life or way of life, but
It's going to destroy society. It's going to destroy family life. It's going to destroy a lot of us. It's going to have a tremendous impact when you think that a woman from some country that is ravaged economically coming here is better than your wife. When you think that I must put up somebody in an apartment and spend all my money behind that person for a colored vagina, that's going to destroy people's lives. When you think alcohol is better than your family, that will destroy people's life. When you think gambling, there's an addiction worse than alcoholism, you know, and that is called gambling. You know.
I know, I just told you that. The casinos are filled to capacities.
Not only casino, every rum shop in Trinidad have a roulette machine.
And on every 2 other buildings there's a...
And you know, they just hold up them places, rob them places. And fellas hearing that and reading that and still they're still going in them places. They're still going there. You could get robbed and shot and killed in those places and you're still going because of the addiction of gambling. You don't care if you get killed there. You forget your personal safety, you know. You forget your personal safety to go and find yourself in a place where the odds of something happening to you have suddenly increased. If you're lineman, let me say you're lineman. You stop in a restaurant, you eat something. The odds of a restaurant getting robbed is maybe 15%. I'm just using percentage here. While you're going in a little hook and spit bar, they have nothing. The odds of getting robbed there is 5%. You go in a place where you have a roulette machine and one-armed bandit and all them kind of thing. The odds of that place getting robbed is now 99.9%. But you go in there? You have to be an idiot to go there. I stopped going to them places, I think, you know.
I've never been to one.
Well, because of family members having those type of business, I go.
Right.
But to support the business. But I tell him, I say, why am I endangering myself to support your business when there's something there that could cause me to get my debt? I ask myself that question.
I don't like this place.
I don't.
Very uneasy.
I'm very uneasy. Very, very uneasy. I cannot relax how I used to relax before.
I had a friend who lost his life in a bar. That made me even more scared.
Well, of course. So why are you endangering your life, right, by going to some place like that? No, I'm not. Whoever want to go to their business, you know. I'm not telling you to go, you know. But you see, me, brother, man, I think differently because my important thing here, my thing that is most important to me is my wife and my children, my mother and father who is alive. And I want to make sure that I are home, you know. No, I could, you could walk out here and drop, I could be talking here and get a heart attack and die. It's possible. But I do everything to prevent that. I go to the gym, I eat healthy, I do all the things that I'm supposed to do. But it doesn't guarantee me life. No, again, when you're born, nobody give you a guarantee or a warranty. You didn't come down here with that. So I'm not afraid of that. But I have decided that I'm not putting myself in danger when I read and see what's happening. I have a friend, he has a bar. I think he got robbed about 4 or 5 times. You think I go in that bar? What are the odds of it happening again? If you get robbed 4 times and the odds went up, I didn't go in there for nothing. I would like to patronize his bar.
Do you see that kind of infidelity increasing? I don't want to say improving as with this industrial climate.
Well, I'm now going to tell you that. Why you feel I started that talk to come down here. To end with that, what is happening in this country economically? What is happening with all these people losing their jobs and whatnot? People have to make a decision.
And that is happening with the influx of these people from Venezuela.
Correct.
That's double whammy.
Double whammy.
Yeah.
So the wives and husbands have to start making a decision. I'll tell you something that's going to happen. There's going to be a lot more men with erectile dysfunction. Sexual dysfunction. Because the worries of where your next meal coming from is not an easy thing. Or the worries of where your next pay packet going to come from to pay your mortgage and all those things is not an easy thing.
Or even what you have.
How are you going to secure that?
Loan that is going to take.
Correct.
Father is going to take you.
Correct.
Yeah.
On top of that, when that worry starts to hit you, that is stress. Your cholesterol level is going to go up. Once cholesterol level goes up, testosterone levels go down. That's it. They're talking about economic impact. I can tell you about the sexual impact, you know. There are men who are going to fail. They will not be able to perform with their wives. There are wives that who would be able to do the things that are necessary to increase the libido of the husband. And man, you're going to start to fail. You feel less of a man when you don't have a pay coming in, you know. It affects you psychologically, you know. Emotionally you're affected, you know. So, yes, it's going to affect people. There's going to be a tremendous impact in society. But nobody addresses that. We have never had a ministry in this country addressing that. We have never had a study done in this country why so many people get horned or are horning. And that's a serious thing to look at, you know. We have never looked at the impact of a recession that we went through in the 80s, what it did to the psyche of the couples and family life, and what it did to the breakup of families. You know what's another thing that broke up families in this country? You know how many barrel mothers it have out there? You know how many mothers leave their daughters with other men, with family, with tanti, nenen, godfather? I know much of those young ladies were raped. You have any idea? No, I'm asking, do you have any idea?
I don't, but I shudder to think about that percentage because
I will tell you the amount of barrel mothers that have out there. And they don't want to hear it, you know, because you know why they don't want to hear it? Because they feel guilty of what they have done. But because of economic reason, they bust it from Trinidad, they go on and live in another country, they send on a barrel for their daughter. And I'm dealing with the daughter. The sons went through the same thing, but not as, the impact wasn't as much as a daughter-mother relationship and the development of that child through, especially from that period of development in their teenage years. You know what kind of serious social, psychological impact we had on this society? There are plenty young ladies out there. If they're honest enough, they'll put their hands up, they'll call, they'll send a text message on 7401961 and say, yes, I'm a victim of that. I am a victim of that. My mother abandoned me here and went away, and I was left to fend for myself. I didn't know where my next meal was coming because I was living with so-and-so. I know a girl who was staying with her godfather and he was raping her left, right, and center. Her godfather. Left, right, and center. But I get the information and I have to help them deal with it. I have to help them deal with that. But how many times any ministry in this country or anybody in authority say, well, let's address this issue. Let's ask Dr. Raj what information he has, and let's social development or whoever take that information and develop on it.
Because, you know, that situation was developing ever since woman power started to check in. You know, women started to work for just as much as men, or even more than men. Men were
creating what? No, where are you going?
I mean, job-wise and things, the job market. Women started to.
Well, long ago, when you look at our foreparents,
women were home, right?
Women were home taking care of the children. They will have. Nobody had 2 and 3 children. It was always 5, 6, 7. Today I heard about 23.
Yeah, they were
Plenty.
Yeah.
The mother role was at home. The father could go out and work, but the money he made was enough to take care of those children, the home, and the wife. I know men who build houses in the 70s for $17,000. A big house. You try doing that now. 1.7 million a billionaire that same house. 1.7 million not billionaire that same house that you build that house for $17,000 in the 70s.
I know that.
Because I listened to my father-in-law, my father. I was there with my father. My father always was in construction, but he was a businessman. He loved construction. I was always with him. I know how much a bag of cement used to cost in them days. I know how much a load of gravel used to cost. I know all them things. Because I was with my father, watching him build building and all them things. I like that. So I knew. But I know also comparatively what was done in the 70s. If you go to do that very same thing now here, you can't even do that for 100,000 times the amount of money. So, this is the change that takes place. Now you need two persons to work to take care of that same family. So yes, it had an impact. Yes, you had children who were going through the junior sec. Half day school, half day home, play the ass for half day, go to school for half day. And a lot of them play the ass. Because I don't care who you are, once you give a child freedom, he or she is going to find themselves in mischief. Because that is what a child's role is. To do mischievous things. Curiosity, you want to learn about this, you want to do that, you want to break beach, you want to go and lie by the river, you want to go and all of a sudden somebody tell you about smoking a joint. That's what you'll do. That is what children do. That impacted on society. So you had a breed of individuals, a generation of individuals who went through that system, who were messed up. Not everyone. Maybe 50-50. Maybe 40-60. Who knows? Nobody studied that. Not the Ministry of Education or Social Development studied that. They care. All they care about is free education. We give them free education. It doesn't matter if they for 3 hours they play in the fool. That didn't matter. That changed. But everything that's impacted on our society, no one takes the time to study it. And again, when you don't do that, you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. What studies were done on those children who were left here and their barrel mothers?
And I know a lot of people say that. A lot of people.
Well, if you know a lot, and I know a lot, and all the listeners out there know a lot, there's a whole lot.
Big percentage of the society.
But what was ever done to change that? Or to study it and say, let's not make it happen again? I'm not saying people don't migrate here.
We are all migrants.
We are migrants.
Yeah, we are all migrants.
We all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what we do. Even when the Caribbean Arawaks were here, they were going from island to island.
Yeah.
The North American Indian, they were moving from one end of the United States to the other end of the United States. Up and down, left and right. They didn't have no borders.
Europeans went to
Right. So it have nothing like I am here and here only.
It's true.
We move. That's what we do. Nothing wrong with that. But what about the socio-economic impact it has on society when you do these things and nobody thinks about how we stop in?
It creates a massive swing where behavioral patterns. Like
Correct.
this, yeah, you might have.
I know the bitterness of some of those young ladies who were raped by the persons that they were put by to stay. Because I deal with them every day. You know, should I say this way? Over the last 6 months, I have had the displeasure of interviewing about 18 or so women, young ladies, all in their early 20s, who have children and whatnot. And every one of them were raped, and abused. I tell you something, I'd say if I go to record in a book some of these things and publish it, or not a bestseller, boy, make you cringe. It might be a bestseller, but it will make you cringe, the things I hear. The things that are placed on my table day after day after day.
Is it getting worse?
I find it's getting worse. I had one, it started off with her grandfather, then her uncle, then another uncle, and this is at, she was what, 7?
Oh my God.
7 years of age.
I'm crazy, man.
It was passed on. And then, they're friends. I'm like, okay. How is that person going to live a normal life? And it wasn't my choice, eh? There was no choice. There was no choice in the matter. It wasn't that now, of course, there are some persons, their behavior does elicit that. Or sometimes by nature they like that way. But they're the minority, they're not the majority. So when you have 18 interviews last 6 months, and they all telling you they have a thread and a pattern, because there's no father wrong. In none of those cases there was a father wrong. No father. So that's the first thing. Secondly, the biological mother, she may be there, but not 100%. Somebody else is taking the mantle. What do you do?
Tends to make you wonder if 18 came to you, I wonder how much more are they?
Well,
Are shy and afraid and, you know, feel it will sound bad to let this out of the bag.
Well, one of the things that, part of therapy is letting it out and dealing with it. You're never going to erase that memory, but you could live with it. And you could start, one of the things that you do is to strengthen the person's self-esteem, how they feel about themselves. And let them start thinking about themselves with worth. Remember last week I was telling you there are lots of patterns that are developing, what the grandmother did, the mother did, and then the daughter is doing it, and the daughter have a daughter, and they expect that the daughter going to do the same thing. Those are the patterns that develop.
My last days in the dancehall business and as a DJ, there were instances when I used to be all over Trinidad.
Playing.
And I'm going certain places where you see mother and daughter, you can't differentiate.
No, you can't. How are you going to differentiate that? When the mother had the daughter when she was 13 and 14, and now she partying with her daughter, and the daughter is now 13 and 14, and she partying with the daughter the same way.
And that's a big bling in some of them.
But of course it's a bling. I lie with my daughter. But you cannot lie with your children like that. What are you teaching them? I will never, to this day, right, I would not drink with my children. I would not sit down with my son and if he having a beer, I having a whiskey. I'm not doing that, mister. If you're drinking, you drink it. That's your business, not in front of me, not with me. I am not that kind of parent. I will never take a glass of alcohol and hand it to my daughter or my son. I have certain rules with myself. I'm not saying others have to follow that. But those are rules with myself. My father is 82. 82? Yeah, 82 years of age. I never had a drink with my father, and I will not, That is not in my nature, and that is not how I was brought up, mister. To have a drink with your father? That ain't happening. And although when I go by him, he'll offer me something. You know I don't drink, but he'll still offer me. I say, Pa, I'll take something now. No. Not because he want me to do it, It's love. Christmas time come wrong, Yeah. But I wouldn't do that. I can't. You see some fellas that sit around knock glass with their father. Are you doing that? I can't do that. Honestly, I can't. It's not in me to do that. I can't do that with my father-in-law. I can't do that with my father. That's the respect I have.
What do you think is going to happen with the major influx of these Venezuelan migrants? And they're not alone, they're just outnumbering
the others. We have always had migrant problems in the country. We had people coming from the smaller islands all the time, from Guyana, from Venezuela. We have always had that.
Specifically women who are coming looking for that kind of assistance. How is it?
Well, once we propagate it, once the men out there are willing to dish out this money and throw it at them, it's going to happen. Because the information is going to go back home, Trinidadian men like all, they're pelting money behind all this, so all they better come here.
Let's just say, we're not couldn't point a finger at any situation that could cause anybody to get vexed. But the situation is extreme. I'm from South. The majority of people in South are affiliated. They work, they jump, Is that affiliated to Petrotrin or the working Petrotrin?
Yeah.
Fair and square. Now, let's say all these people go home and they get a nice big welcome out here. They get off.
Well, there's persons out there waiting to vacuum at top. I could tell you that one too. But I'll tell you, but my advice to them, first thing, go to the bank and pay off your mortgage.
You gotta explain on bank, hairy bank.
No, the bank. The financial institution. No, I know that. You don't have to tell me about men, you know. From the time you get that package in your hand, if you cannot pay off your mortgage, pay it down. Bring it to a manageable level. Get the bank to restructure that so you're paying a lesser amount because you're going to get a job. Once you are qualified, that's why I always love my grandfather, who never went step one day into a school. Never, his foot never stepped into a school door frame. But he was a brilliant man. One thing he used to always say, when you get education, nobody could take that.
But the amount of people that will be on the breadline.
You'll find work in Trinidad and outside because once you qualify at Petrotrin, you're highly qualified. And one of the things that people don't know is that we have very good systems here. Right? So you will find job. You might not find jobs right away. You remember the situation with ArcelorMittal last year? People have found jobs. They have found ways. You may not be doing the same thing that you were doing, but you will. But you have to cushion that. So everyone should start thinking about how am I going to cushion it. Whatever package I get, reduce my mortgage, make sure my vehicle is paid off for, make sure my children are taken care of, put aside something for a rainy day, things like that, and start working towards getting a job. It may not be this. And if you think that you're going to get the same pay package that you had before and the same job that you had before, well then, crapo smoke in your pipe. Think again. Because what you were comfortable doing, it's not going to happen. You're going to get something else of a lesser position or lesser value.
What do you think would happen to the guys who are the deputies?
Well, the deputy is going to go to the next man who's willing to take care of them. That women who are loyal to you for money are going to go. They don't want anything other than the green that you have in your pocket or the blue that you have in your pocket. That's what they want. A woman who is with you for your money will never be there for you in hard times. Once the money dries up, she goes to the next pond where there's money. And that money not coming from you. So how you pancho on her way? To hell was with you. She's not going to buy an aspirin for you. And that's the reality of it. You have a headache. And she's going to give you a tabanca too, eh? Because the same man going to sit back and say, boy, look at Sheena, boy. When thing was good, I had to buy a car for that woman, boy. And you see a next man driving in the car. I know a man who buy a car for a woman and he never sit down in it, you know. And one day we see the car on the highway, I tell him, look at that car there, boy. We're not another man in the car. That's serious, you know. I said, look, you sit down in the front seat there, boy. He said, what kind of thing is that, boy? I said, well, if you buy a car for a woman and then have a next man sit down in the front seat, it has to be you.
Men's mind will be so messed up with this lost their job and just the idea of having to balance the business in a different way as it was before. You think there's going to be a higher consumption of alcohol?
Of course. When you find yourself in a position of depression, first thing you head for is the bottle. You know, but bottle does not solve problems. You know, if it wasn't for the women in society, and I have to say this, if it wasn't for the women in society, generally, religion dead, you know. If you make rum, liming, gambling, a religion, it will prosper because man go in there. Majority of the men, they go in there. But most men will drop their wife off at church Or they tell Sunday morning they're getting up early, oh God, girl, I work so hard whole week, I ain't going. You go to church now. Sunday morning the wife gone to church. He care about going to church. Because we also forget that the family that prays together stays together. We forget that one too. So if it was not for the woman, and I can tell you that with temple, that's why in every village we have majority Indian, that temple are more rum shop. Because they know the men will drop off their wife by temple and they go in my rum shop to line. Because half of them fellas, they even know one thing about temple. That's why when a man sometimes say, I'm a Hindu, I say one mantra for me now. What are you talking about, boy? I say, well, you ain't no Hindu. Or say a prayer for me now. In Hindi. Boy, what are you doing to me? But I'm doing the truth. You're not a Hindu. You never practice it. You don't know what it is. So don't come and say, I am a Hindu, so I know. You never was. And we have a lot of people in society that does that. But what is going to happen? Before they turn to their faith and their spirituality, they're going to turn to the spirit in the bottle. And that's the reality of it.
Is it a way of masking?
Yes. It is a plaster on a chop. You're putting a plaster on a chop, not a cut, not a bruise. Not a bruise or a cut. You are going to find false comfort in something that is going to take you to the grave faster, increase your medical bills, cause your wife or your husband to horn you, cause your children to go astray, because you are getting comfort in something that is not really comforting to you. Alcohol is not a comfort. I don't care what anybody say. Anyone who believes that alcohol, that put in what's the chemical formula for poison and the chemical formula for alcohol? Almost the same. Anyone who puts a poison into their system and think that is going to do good for them, think again. No amount of drugs, alcohol is a drug, no amount of drugs will make you a better person when it comes to finding a better job or finding something else to do, or put money in your pocket, you have to spend money on that. All them friends that you used to go with before and you're buying drinks for all of them and things, see where they are now when you lost your job now. See where those very same friends are now. See who passing to check for you when you're out of a job. They want nothing to do with you. That's why sometimes when you know what true friendship is, you don't ask them questions. But there are some friends who are friends with you because you could buy, because you could spend on them. And you think that they are your friends. They're not your friends. They're parasites. They're sucking you dry. And we have plenty of that. Just as all those very same women that we're talking about were parasites. They latch onto you and they suck everything out of you. And they know when they're done with you, they're going on to somebody else because they're sticking it out with you. Same way you have friends like that too, who are parasites. It's only what I can get from you. Many a times I see persons who are my friends, that they get friends come along in their life. New friends. And I watch when you develop any friendship with the person, you're seeing that, and I'll step back and watch, and I see what's going on. And afterwards, when the shit hit the fan, and they come and they tell me, I say, yeah, I know what was going to happen. Why you didn't tell me? I say, for you to lose your friendship? I say, I just stay away from you. The realization will come. It will come.
Exactly.
I have a nephew. Meet up this girl. Man, the man gone crazy with him. Bring she home by me and thing. Well, when she come home by me, realize I know she more comfortable with me than he. Leave, they gone back home. A month later, he called me, say, Uncle, so. I say, you're lucky to be alive, Rex. So what I mean? I say, she would have take you out. He said, well, she tried to kill me. I say, yeah. He said, so why you never tell me nothing? I say, me? I say, and So sweet? Say, yeah, but real sweet. I say, I say, you would have leave that based on what I tell you? He says she do things that never done before. I say, I know. I'm well aware. I said, but I couldn't come and tell you you're playing with fire. I said, I know you would have learned because you're smart. He said, but you could have told me something. I said, no, mister, I would have lose you as a nephew if I had only come and say that person so. Which is a fact. Learn. I will guide you through after, not before the fact.
You know, there are some women that I hear people talk about that stuff who will demand a certain kind of a
Lifestyle?
revenue from their husband or spouse or mister or anyhow they want to call it. Now, in this instance here with this industrial climate, and like, let's just say the Venezuelans are an easier, cheaper way to be a man and to make that, would that accept?
I don't think they're going to accept less. If you give a wife, if you're accustomed giving your wife $2,000 to run the home, I'm just using Africa, she will take that $2,000 and make it into $4,000, and you ain't know how. If you give an outside woman $2,000, that $2,000 is for hair, and nail, and jeans, and tops, and a shoe to go with every outfit, and party, and line, and eating in the best restaurant. That's what it is for. You think she going to accept less now?
But there are women who are very demanding.
Yes, they are. But there are women who are willing to adjust given the circumstances. And if they are demanding and you cannot meet the demands, they find somebody else who's going to meet the demands. That's the bottom line. There are women who care about the dollar, material things, and you can't get away from that. That's what it is.
There are people who hang their hats in some positions
where their hand can reach. Yeah, but who creates that? Who creates it? If you have a wife or a woman who demands certain things of you, and every time you meet she at her hand, she at $1,000 or whatever, and you willingly do it, who created the monster? She or you? It's you. It's you. If she demanding $5,000, I say, here what? I giving you $2,000. Make that do. You are being in control.
Everybody too, most of the men and like you've been talking about the migrants and stuff, and men going for them because of the color of skin. Is there a rise where STIs and things?
Of course. But we know for a fact that you're coming from a depressed, poor society where there's no medical help. You think you're not going to bring a bag of disease too?
And some of them are very
promiscuous.
You know, hygiene is
well, the hygiene is very poor. The hygiene is very poor. I know for a fact, again because of my clinic, there are women from certain regions, and I'm using the word regions very loosely here, that they have a particular type of STI whenever they come here. Every one of them. Every single one of them. Once they're tested, they have that. And any man who come to me and they tested with that positive, I could tell them what woman they have. And they just ask me, how you know? How you know?
I think that's the most scary thing.
Well, of course. They're going to bring a disease or a battery of it. A battery of diseases, STIs.
Okay.
But many of us, we wouldn't even spend the extra money. We wouldn't even spend the extra money for them to go and do a test before you even take them out. You know. We want to take them out and impress them and whatnot. And when time for test, you already do something with them, so you're starting to test again.
Yeah, I think I wanted to ask you that and for you to make that very clear.
You should test first. When you meet someone like that, the first thing you do is, the first $400 that you spend it on an STD, STI test on them.
How long it takes for the results?
3 days. You can wait 3 days, man.
Oh, good.
I know why you laugh. But you can wait at 3 days, you think so? Huh?
I thought the high tech of modern times now would have
Instant? They have
by
instant tests for
time.
certain diseases, but if you want to test the battery of disease, the 36 STDs and STIs that they have out there.
36 you say,
Yeah. 36. So if you want to get results for all, you spend the $400, $500, $600, $700, let's say $1,000. You go and get that done, and then you still box with our gloves, eh?
And then fellas and them have to put on blindfold them fellas for the 3 days.
Blindfold and tie them down.
We can't be, I tell you what I do in my spare time and think I my off time, my other sidekick. And I would hear them talking, and sometimes I'm sitting in my mind. I wonder if they need. I'm not part of the comments. They're running up their mouth. Boy, last night. Wait till tomorrow.
Best thing,
lashing,
Don't
call me, man. And when you see what it is, it's the same kind of influence with my grandson and all that. And that's the same kind of.
Because you get best thing, so you're studying to test. It's only I see them after the fact. They come to me after the fact and say, boy, last night I do something there and again I itch, boy. But of course it's the guilt factor giving you the itch, eh?
Yeah.
You may not have anything in the body, it's the guilt factor. You know you do it without a glove.
I can't deal with that.
You went and box without a glove.
I can't deal with that at all.
Uh-huh.
I don't want that mental pressure. I don't give myself that mental pressure.
But there are men who do that.
I know. I tell you what I do.
They give themselves that pressure because of the moment of pleasure. The moment of pleasure giving them that.
It sounds like fun, but I mean,
No, it's not fun.
That's a very serious issue, right?
It's not fun.
Yeah.
There's no fun in that.
When that happens, I mean, imagine the kind of emotional impact you have on your partner, whether it be male or female, and by extension,
The family.
children involved,
The family.
You know what I mean? So I think people should think along those lines.
Well, I know a lot of people out there will be asking the question, would I be on tomorrow? Yes, I'm not sacrificing tomorrow to go to cricket.
No, but tomorrow the best day to come on, Raj. Everybody's home, resting, relaxing, and listening.
No, that cricket tomorrow.
They would listen to. That's
Yes.
sort of win.
Well, I wouldn't say they're sure to win. What I'm going to say is that we qualified,
Yeah.
and we just have to be at the top two.
I don't see Trident.
Yeah, no, just try them mentally out of it.
They're gonna put more diamonds on on the crown of the Night Riders.
And once we have won that, we will be right at the top. Nobody will be able to dethrone us, and we're there.
Straight into the big final.
Straight into the big final. Well, not the big final. No, we have to go to the semis.
But I think we have a nice, well-rounded team.
We have a very good team. So I will be here tomorrow. Junior, I will be here. No, you'll be watching it here and giving me the score, and you have other people who will be watching and giving me the score.
Angels too? You coming on with the Angels?
No, not tomorrow. So some persons are resting and reflecting tomorrow. Remember the purpose of it. Those are you resting and reflecting tomorrow?
Me?
Or are you working?
I'm off on a Friday. I'm always resting.
Oh, you? All right. How about you, Junior? Resting and reflecting, baby. Maybe I should stay home and rest and reflect tomorrow too. Oh, it ends at 6. I'm not too sure, you know.
By the time I come to work tomorrow, everything done.
Well, I was asking you. Remember my program tomorrow? No, I work in tomorrow. Eh? My clinic is open tomorrow because all who resting and reflecting will come and see about their erection.
Yes.
Because they want to make sure it's working.
And to get advice on how to keep it working.
Right.
It's another politician.
So, with that, folks, pleasant good night.
Yes.
See you tomorrow.
Yes, thank you so much, Raj. That's Dr. Raj, Sexplosion Thursdays here at Power 102.1 FM. Family's up next. God's willing, I'll be back with you on Saturday. I got to fill in for Maggie on Saturday. So, Saturday from about 2 p.m.